Okay, so let's start. So we have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and maybe tomorrow you can practice all 6 many times so that when anything is asked in interview, you should be able to answer it. Of all the things in my personal interview, they have asked me the number 1 and they have asked me number 6. These two are the questions which are asked in my personal interview in some of the companies. So we have finished the 5 problems. Let's go to the 6th problem. Okay, let's go to the 6th problem, twosum. So what is the question for the twosum? So here the definition is something like this: sum of two numbers should be equal to the target. So we are provided with the array of numbers, for example 2, 4, 5, 6. These are the unique numbers. They are non-repeating numbers, and we have given the target also. The target is, for example, 6. So we have to count two numbers like 2 and 4. If both the numbers are equal to this target, then we have to return the index of 2 and index of 4. What is the index of 2? What is the index of 2? I'm asking, what is the index of 2? 0. So it should return me the array like this, 0. And what is the index of 4? Index of 4? 1. So it should return me, if the target is 6, it should return me 0 and 1. Let's say if I change the target, to 14. So I'll go through this number, this number, this number, this number, and this number, and this number total adds up to the 14. So I should return the index of this and this. So what is the index of this one? What is the index of this one? 3, right, 3. And what is the index of this one? 4, correct. So I should get 3 and 4. That is the problem. So we have to go through each number and we have to add another number and to see if both are equal to the target, then we should return both the indexes. And if sometimes if I give the target which is not existence, for example, if I give target as 100, so no matter you add any number, you cannot reach the target 100. So you can return null in this case, or you can also return empty array. Whatever it is, I am okay with that one. Okay, so this is the problem. Let's understand the problem, how to do it, and then we'll do it. So generally, when anyone gets this problem, what they will do, they will say, okay, let's go through the loop. I will go through loop of 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then I will write down another loop inside it. It will go from 4, 5, 6, 8, and I will check that whether the first number is matching with the second number. So for example, how the people generally solve, which is the wrong way, we don't do it. So let's say I have this array. I will go manually something one by one. So this is the array. So what people generally do, they write down var I equal to 0, I less than array dot length I plus plus, and then they will write down another loop which will go var j equal to I plus 1. I plus 1 means it starts from 4 number and j will go to the whole length j plus plus. Okay, since this is starting from array dot length, this is ending at array dot length, that is 8. So I should put -1. No matter, don't worry about this part. So what they will do, they will take 2 number and add it 4. Then they will take 2 number. So if we walk through this for loop, 2 for loop, they will take 2 number here in this case, and for the j they will go through all the numbers. So it will take 2 plus 4 6, 2 plus 5 7, 2 plus 6 8, 2 plus 8 10. If any of the and if the target is, for example, target is equal to 14, for example, so they will not reach 14, so they will try again with second number, and they will try again with 5 6 8. Then again they will start with 5 number and try to add 6 8, and then they will try again 6 number and try to add it with the 8. So this is how they write down the 2 for loops. No matter what, these 2 for loops will give the complexity of O n square. And in interview, if you write down anything O n square, this is the very negative feedback from the interviewer, and you will get sometime you will not get time to fix it. So don't do this 2 for loop. 2 for loop in interview is not a good idea. There are some problems where we have to write down 2 for loops, where there is 1 for loop is not possible. In only that case you can write down the 2 for loop. Otherwise, writing the 2 for loop will be very negative in the interview. So let's forget about these 2 for loops and try to do it with our 1 for loop. We have to solve this problem using the complexity of O(n) maximum. So what we will do, we have to build the character map, this character map, but this character map is used in counting the elements. Like a is 2 times, we add the counting like this. Whereas in this problem, we need to modify this function so that we should not take the counting of the elements. Since in the return we need the index, see, we need the index. Therefore when I build this character map, I should be using the index rather than counting these elements. So let's build our character map in a different way. So build character map, I will name it as 2. And here I will go through all elements and convert it into the object, but the object will look like this one. Object will look like in this case, we need to build the object like this. We have to build let's say I put element 2, so I will put as 2 as a key, and I will put index as a value. And for the second case, key will be 4 and index will be 1. In the third case, key will be 5 and index will be 2. And in the fourth case, key will be 6 and index will be 3. And then key will be 8 and index will be 4. So we have to build the character map like this. So this is a difference. Previously, here we were building based on the number of elements. So here we have to change it to take the index. Since we have to take the index, it is better we should use the original for loop rather than using this for loop. So let's start with the original for loop. That is for var I equal to 0, I less than input dot length I plus plus, because I need the index, so I need to loop through the index. And then what I will do, then I will create the object. So I will say if object, now before so what we have, index is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so this is the index and the value is 2, 4, 5, 6 and 8. So here if I want to access the value, what will be the value? Value will be input of I. Everybody knows, right? So I'll create a separate variable val equal to input of I. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the value, each value in the variable called as value val, and then I will build this object. So object will be, now what I will check, if object of val is there or no. If object of val is there, then if object of val is there, then I will not do anything. I have that object of val. I have already this object of val is already there. Since it is unique, that means only one time we will get this object of val. Okay, so we have 2 of 0 already exist, and if object of val is not there, then I will create the object of val. The object of val is equal to index. Index is I. So when I'm done with the for loop, what will be the output? Output will be like this only. So I'm not doing anything right now in this case. Only I'm doing it in the else case. Let me rename this function to twosum. Okay. Okay, let's see how it looks. Now I will pass twosum with array. Okay, when I pass the twosum, I'm getting some object like 2 of 0, 4 of 1, 2, 5 of 2, 6 of 3, 8 of 4, right? Whatever it is this. So this object is created already in this fashion. Okay, so we will modify this function to do more work. Okay, so right now while building the character map, I'll be also doing the problem. So I will not create this as a separate function. I will be solving this problem here only. So this is the character map building, and in the if part I will modify if part to solve my purpose. What is my purpose? My purpose is to add the two numbers, so the target should be 6. So before I go further and modify this, I want you to write down this before we move further. Okay, let me write down this. Okay, so you should write down before I write down further what to do. So before I go further, just write down this function and then I will modify this function a little bit. Let me know when you are done writing this function. So this is only the character building. The only difference between this character building and the previous one was that in this character building, I am building like 2 of 0, 4 of 1, 5 of 2, that is each value with the index assigned to each one. Why I am giving the index in each one? The reason is I have to output the index. Since I have to output the index, that means I should be utilizing the index so that I can return that index. So let me know once you write this problem, then we will modify this problem to support this part. Okay, done. Okay, so I'm still waiting further to do this problem, then I'll go. Few seconds more. Okay, so now instead of input also, I will also pass the target, because we need the target to calculate the target. This target is needed. So I will also pass the target. Let me pass the target. So now the problem will be, I have to call the twosum with the array and the target. So let's take this array, and the target will be 6. So I'll call this problem with the input and the target of 6. Now what we have to do, let's go through this loop again and see what is happening. I am at the first part, that is at the 0th level. So let me write down the logic here. So when the I is equal to 0, what will be the object look like? Object will look like, when I is 0, I will take the 2, that is value 2, and I will assign the key 2, and value will be 0. When I will go to the second part, that is when I will become 1, object will look like 2, 0 is already there, and we have the 4 of 0, 4 of 1, because the second time the value is 4, which will become key here, and the index is 1. Third time it will be 2 here, and this will become 5 of 2. Fourth time when it will run, I will become 3, and here will be 6 of 3. Next time when the loop will run, I will be 4, and here we will get 8 of 4, because 8 is the value, this value, and 4 is the key. 4 is the index of 8. Okay, so this is each case I will go through like this. Now, when I will reach here, when I will reach at the first point, let's forget about the first point. I will start with the second point, and then I will talk about the first point. So when I am at the second point, before even creating this part, that is before even creating this part, let's talk about here. What is the value? What is the value here? When I'm going to the second loop, I have not set the 4 equal to 1. I'm setting this 4 equal to 1 here. What will be the value when I'm in the second loop? What will be the value of the val? If I do console.log of val is val, what will be the printed this val in the second case? In the second case, first case is 2. In the second case, in the second turn, 4. Yeah, 4, because I have to construct the 4 here. right? I have to construct the 4 here, but I have not constructed here yet. I am checking it the value before even constructing it. So 4 is the value. First time it is 2. So let's don't think about the first time. We are done with the first time. Now we are in the second time. And in the second time, the wall is nothing but 4. So what I will check, maybe I can put a variable, another variable check. This variable check will be nothing but the target minus wall. What I am saying, target minus wall. So what will be the value of check in the second case? Don't worry about the first case. Tell me about the second case. What will be the value of the check? Target is passed as 6. I am checking target minus wall. Target is 6 minus wall, and wall is nothing but this 4. So what is the value of the check? Only Yash and Ole has answered it. I want the answer from everyone. Forget about the first case. In the second case, wall is 4. I have not constructed yet the object. I am using another variable called as check. Check is nothing but the target minus value. What is target? 6. 6 minus value. Value is what? 4. So 6 minus 4 is 2. So check is 2. So now what I will do, instead of checking object of wall, I will check whether object of check exists or not. If object of check exists, okay, if object of check exists, then I will think that 2 is already in the object. Okay, I will think that 2 is already in the object and current value is 4. So that means I will think that 2 plus 4 goes to the 6th as a target. That means if object of check, that is if object of 2 exists in this object, that means current value plus that previous value is equal to target, because I am subtracting target minus wall. So if I get check, I will assume that the another part of this number, that is 4 plus 2, is already exist in the object, and I will get addition of the previous number with the addition of the current number. I will get the target, because check is nothing but the target minus value. So if object of check, that is 2, exists, that means the current value plus the check is equal to target, because we are subtracting check equal to target minus value. So if I get the object of check, I will assume that this index, I have to return it, and I have to return the current index, because I am in this index. I have to return the current index and I have to return this previous index. And here I will return the array, because here I will assume that the combination of the current number and the previous number is equal to the target, because we are taking the check is equal to target minus value. So what I will return here? I have to return here 0 and 1, as I show you example. Sorry, 1 second. I have to return 0 and 1. 0 is already there and 1 is the current value. So here will be the two values. I have to first return 0. How will I calculate the 0 now here? What should I write to get the value of 0? So I have to return the array, that is the 0 and 1. But this is the hard code value. I have to return the dynamic value. So what will I pass here so that I get the value 0? I want the value of 0. If I pass I is 1 because we are in the second case. We are gone with the first loop. We are in the second case. So in the second case I is 1. So I cannot return I as a 0. Since first loop is done, we are in the second loop and here I is 1. Object of check. Yeah, this one is object of check is 0. Check is nothing but the 2. Object of check is 0. So I'll put object of check. And what will I pass in case of the I? In case of 1, how will I pass 1 here? Object of wall is not created yet. It comes in the else case. Since we got the solution in the if case, so object of wall is not created. I cannot say object of wall because object of wall will be created after this, and we are returning before object of this. How will I pass 1 in the return? It is I because in the second case I have to return 1. So it is I will return I here. And in the end I will return null. That means if I don't get anything in the for loop, I will return null. So if this does not matches my target, then I will return null or I can pass empty array. Depending on your interviewer, you have to answer return it null or this. If they say return empty array, return empty array. If they say return null, you can return null, depending on what they want. Okay, so let's work out this problem one more time by changing the target. Okay, so instead of target 6, I will put the target of 7. Okay, so let's go through each line and see what happens. So first time I will go through I is 0. I will construct this object 2. Okay, second time when I go, I will create the check which will be the target minus wall. So what will be the value of check in the second case here? What will be the value of check when I am passing the target 7? Check will be 7 minus 4, that is 3. Okay, 7 minus 4, that is 3. So tell me whether object of 3 exists or no. Object of 3 does not exist in this object. Therefore, it will not go inside the if case. It will not go inside the if case. It will go in the else case, and we will be constructing this 4 of 1. Then I will go to the third loop. In the third loop, what will be the value of check? Value of check will be 7 minus 5, that is 2. Okay, so tell me whether object has the key of 2 or no. Yes or no. Whether this object has a key of 2. Yes, it has the 2. And what is the index of that? Is 0. Okay, so since we found the check, that means I will return. First I will return object of check. Object of check is nothing but 0 and I is 2. So I will return 0 and 2 in this case. So I will return 0 and 2. And in the first case, I will return 0 and 1. Let's take one more example. By changing the target, I will change the target to 8, for example. Now, since the target is changed, let's pass the first one. Do not worry about the first one. I'll create the first one because in the first one, definitely object is empty, so this will not go. So let's talk about the second case. What will be the check in the second case if I pass target as 8? 8 minus 4 is 4. So we will be check of 4. Whether object of 4 exists or no. Since we have check here 4, whether object of 4 exists or no. No. That means I will move further by creating this object 4 1. I will go to next line I equal to 2. Now what will be the check in this case? What will be the check in this case? We are passing target as 8 and the value is 5 here. So object of check, the value of check is 3. Whether 3 exists in this object or no? No. That means I have to go through further. And here, what is the check here? Value is 6. Check is check is 2 because 8 minus 6 is 2. Since check whether object of 2 exists here or no, and object of 2 is there. So that means we don't have to go further. We have to return this I and we have to return the object of 2, that is value of object of 2, that is 0. So object of check will come because check is 2, 2 already exists, and I will be 3 in this case. So the return will be 0 and 3. So what we are trying to do, we are taking the value and then we are creating another temporary variable which will take the target and it will subtract the current value. And if that temporary variable is present in the object, then we return that object of check and the current I. That is the idea. Because if it exists, that means that number plus the current number is equal to the target. That is what it is done. So go through this problem again and again, then it will you will solve, you will understand it properly. And I will go through this problem tomorrow again because this is little complex problem and everyone should understand, and this is most asked in the interview. Okay, even if I wrote this function, this will not work. Why? Let's say if I pass this one will not work. I need to modify a little bit this code. Can anyone tell me why this code will not work in all cases? Some case it will work, but in all cases it will not work. We have to modify this code little bit. Can anyone tell me? Okay, so no one can tell me. I'll tell you. Okay, when I reach here, I will check this object of check. What is object of check in this case? What is object of check? When I reach here, object of check is 0. And if I do the if of 0, when I do if of 0, then it is negative, it is false. Because if 0 is considered as a negative value, means as a false value. So if I do if of 0, because check of 2 is 0, whenever I do if of 0, then it is false and it will not go inside the if case, it will go to the else case. So we have to take the consideration of 0 also, otherwise it will not work. So here I can put one more condition, object of check is there, or object of check is equal to 0. This is the case, exceptional case, object of check equal to 0, then you have to go to this return value, otherwise you have to add it. So this check is needed because 0 is considered as a false value and we will not be able to enter this if case if we only put if object of check. So we need to add this condition also, that either object of check does not should exist or object of check should be equal to 0, then put it here, otherwise go here. So we have to add this one more condition. Now let's run this problem and see if we are getting correctly this return. Okay, let's check it. So I'm getting 03 here. It's only running the last one. It's not showing this. So we can run one by single. Let me first write down this function. So I will repeat this problem tomorrow again. By the time you can also practice this problem, and let's run this problem separately. Okay, so let's take first case again. Okay, I'm doing only the first case. So first time value is 2, check is 4, and check does not exist in the object. Second time value is 4, check is 2, and 2 exists in the object. So we return 0 and 1. Let's go to the second time. Let's do the console.log of object also, so we can see what object is going on. Let me create this function. I want to see object also in each case. So let's go through the second one. So first time value is 2 and check is target, that is 7 minus 2, and 5 does not exist in the object. So we go to the second value. Second is 4, check is 3, and 3 does not exist in the object. So we go to the third value 5, and check is 7 minus 5, that is 2, and 2 exists in the object. So we return 0 and 2, that is 0 and 2. Okay, so we can go to third one also. You can create more examples also to do that. So before I close today's class, you can write down this problem and then we are done.